this episode of Puck Drop as we are rocking the second episode of the new season and the new year in Puck Drop. Today, we are going to report you with some Devils prospects as we're going to give you a little update run by Mr. Jacob, the knowledgeable Goran, who's running today's episode. Go ahead,
Oh,
Jacob.
I like that nickname, Jacob the Knowledgeable.
Yes, Jacob the Knowledgeable. Yeah, so we have 13 prospects here. Let's get started with our first prospect, Alex Holtz. He was the number 7 pick in the 2020 draft. He's 18 years old, and in 19 games so far in the SHL, he has 6 goals, 7 assists for 13 points. He's already matched his assist total from 39 games. 36 games, in 2019-20.
Yeah, I like this guy. He's obviously on the rise. 13 points in 19 games is nothing to scoff at. And hopefully he can score some more goals, because really what I want from him is to be a goal scorer that can complement Hughes in the distant future.
Well, yeah, but
guy on the rise.
His playmaking center got injured a little bit ago, which is why he's been putting up a little more assists, which you might recognize this name, his playmaking center, Jacob Josephson. You played for the Devils for a while.
Well, yeah, hopefully he can ramp up the goals even without his playmaking center. And he's a guy on the rise. Ryan, your thoughts?
So I particularly liked their pick with Alex Holtz. As I tell you guys, I'm not somebody to get too rampant about a draft just because anything can happen. Really, there's been a lot of busts just as much as there's been success stories out of the blue. But so far, Alex Holtz, as he said, he's been producing on pace. He's a good first-round draft pick. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to a guy to aid the future to the New Jersey Devils. And Holtz looks like he can contribute to that.
Yeah, definitely. So next player, Yegor Sharangovich. And I did not expect to be having this guy on here. If we were gonna,
what happened to this guy?
If I told myself a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, you're gonna be doing a prospect report for Puck Drop, and you're gonna have Yegor Sharangovich as one of the top guys, I'd be going, what are you talking about? I mean, he's a decent prospect, but Yegor Sharangovich, 22 years old, he was the 141st pick in the 2018 NHL draft, and so far in the 31 KHL games, again, KHL, second best league in the world, 17 goals and 22 points.
Which I may point out is very tough to score anything in the KHL.
Oh yeah,
very
the KHL is a very low scoring league.
I'll tell you though, Vladimir Putin hasn't had any trouble scoring in that league, has he?
No, he has not. But I'm actually this is one of the few prospects I do know a lot about, because I did an article on Devils Army blog. Even I did that back in like November, and he was already on a torrent. But 17 goals in 31 games, let's leave out the 5 assists. 17 goals in 31 games in the KHL is fantastic. I don't know how sustainable it is. Maybe he's just on a hot streak. I don't know.
He's shooting at 20. His shooting percentage is like 20%. He is not going to carry that over
the North. That's exactly why I don't know if it's sustainable. But right now he is very promising. He's on the rise, but I think he will regress. Don't forget, the KHL is viewed as the NHL in Russia. So anytime you see a player going back to Russia and you get really frustrated, that's the same feeling in Russia. So, if a Russian player leaves for North America, they get the same feeling in Russia as do if a player leaves the NHL for Russia.
Well, the good thing about this is Sharangovich is on a loan. The Devils, he's gonna come back to North America really soon, as it's looking like the NHL season's gonna get started in about a month. So yeah, Sharangovich is gonna be coming back really soon, and hopefully he can carry over this insane momentum he has into training camp and maybe crack a spot on the opening night roster. So next guy, Nick Merkley. Merkley was acquired in the Taylor Hall trade, and he was acquired as kind of a project player. He was drafted in the first round in 2015. He hadn't really proved anything, but he was on fire in the AHL last season and played 4 NHL games, had a goal and an assist. And then he went over to the Finnish Liga, which is the top league in Finland and is a men's league. and put up 4 goals and 13 points in 19 games. He played very well there.
Yeah, seems like a pretty good prospect. Hopefully, he could fill out kind of that middle six at the pace he's on. That could change, but at the pace he's on, seems like a middle six kind of guy. But
I'd say
he's going in the right direction. Bottom six, okay.
No,
But he's going
actually,
in the right direction.
actually, I'm gonna go with middle six. Again, 23 years old, acquired in the Hall trade. I see Nick Merkley almost as kind of a utility forward for the Devils. He's going to be helpful. He's never going to be that star player that anybody thinks of, but I think that the Devils should give him a chance and see what he can do. And I think he's got a lot more in his tank.
He's not going to crack the roster, though.
I think he will.
No, I think he will.
Really? No.
I think Merkley.
Yeah, I
okay,
think
but
he will.
also it's looking like there's teams are going to be given more roster spots. So I think Merkley is going to.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Jordan, again, we're looking at what, a 50, 60 game season, Jacob? Fact man?
56.
Back me up on that.
56.
We're looking at a rough 56 game season. We're starting in mid-January. Winter is almost over by then. I don't think the NHL wants to run all the way into the spring. I mean, I don't speak for the commissioner, but I don't know. I think they just have to open up. Excuse me. I just think they have to open up the rosters a little bit more, and I think that gives up space for Nick Merkley just because there's going to be so many games in this schedule. Shortened season again, starting extremely late. They need to have those empty spots.
You know, there's going to be a lot of room.
Let's move on.
There's going to be a lot of room for young guys to climb to the roster, and like some other guys we're going to go over on this list. But Sharangovich, Merkley, they're both guys I think could definitely have the potential to crack a bottom six roster.
If he does crack a roster spot, he's definitely going to need to prove himself. I'll leave it at that.
Next player, Shakir Mukhamadullin, 18 years old, already
Good
playing
pronunciation.
top KHL minutes. He was the 20th pick in the 2020 draft. 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points in 31 games in the Continental Hockey League. And you know what? He was off to a hot start. Offensively, he was off to a very hot start. I think he had 6 points in his first 14 games. He's only had 3 points since then, but I'm not too concerned. Again, this kid's only 18, playing top KHL minutes, and he's not doing bad at all. If you watch Mukhamadullin, he's been playing well.
This is one of those players. Oh, who are we talking about? Was it 2 rounds ago, right before Nick Merkley? I'm sorry, I forget. What was his name? Yeah, Sharangovich. Okay, that's something that I have to say about Shakir Mukhamadullin. Excuse me. This guy, I know the KHL isn't quite as good. I'm pretty sure the KHL isn't quite as good. However, I do have to say that this guy is playing prime tier hockey in a pretty strong country at the age of 18 years old. He was a mid-first round pick. This player is going to be a good Devil.
Yeah, he's definitely I feel like I'm saying this for all the prospects. He's heading in the right direction. I don't know much about where he's going to end up. He's just so young. He's playing top minutes, but again, he's just so young. Anything could happen.
Jordan, you're looking very positive, I have to say.
Well, to be fair,
I am.
To be fair, the prospects that aren't doing the best, I'm not putting on here. If this is a prospect that has like 1 point in 20 games, I'm not going to put him on here. I'm only putting the guys who are playing well. So next prospect, we have the Devils' second of 3 first-round picks from the 2020 draft. Dawson Mercer, selected 18.
Oh, hot start.
Years old. He's only played 5 games in the queue because of the COVID-19 has delayed and postponed a lot of his games, but he has 4 goals in those 5 games, 7 points.
Okay. I really like Dawson Mercer. Again, this isn't a guy playing prime tier hockey, but this is a guy that's staying a little bit more local to NHL territory. Again, keynote, this is an 18-year-old player. That means if he continues to progress at the rate he is, I can see him getting 15 plus years in the NHL if all goes right for him. This is key for him. 18th overall draft pick in 2020. Again, 5 games, I get it, but he's still got 2 more years until he is over the age of 20 years old, which is when I start to say it might get just a little too excessive not playing prime tier hockey. But Dawson Mercer, I know I sound like I'm quoting Jordan here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ryan, I don't think you understand that most NHLers don't make their debuts until they're like, oh, I don't know, like
21 or
23. And even if you're,
23
21 to
23 is a little.
Excuse me. This is the 18th overall pick. We're not talking a second or third rounder here. We're not even talking a late first rounder. We're talking a mid first round pick. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
I'd say even if you're like 24, you can make your debut.
I'm talking about, you guys are just talking about all of the draft picks, the average time they make their debut. I'm talking a first round pick, a mid first round pick here. He should be making his debut at 20 years of age, the latest.
No,
This
Mercer,
is a star player in the making. That's what the first round is meant to be. This is a very deep draft, and we're talking low to mid first round pick. This guy's got to be making his debut 20 years of age, the latest. He's 18 years old. He's already progressing. He should be getting top 6 minutes easily next year in the QMJHL, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League.
He's getting top line minutes
this is a
year.
first round pick in a very deep draft. Okay. I don't want to see a guy like this making his debut at 23. If he's heading in the right direction, he's got to be making his debut earlier.
I think
honestly, Ryan, I think you don't understand. I don't think you understand that if you rush a player to the NHL if they're not ready, they're not going to succeed. That's what went wrong with Jack Hughes this year.
I'm saying he's in the direction of being ready, Jordan. I'm not saying
he's in the direction of being ready. I'm just saying you can't rush a player to the NHL. No, anyway, he got off to a hot start.
I think Mercer, I think at the earliest makes the team 2021, 2022 at age 19. Yep. At the latest, he makes it
I agree.
21.
Jordan, I just don't think you understand that every player is different. Not every player meets the average. I think every player is different, and this is a player who I can see makes it earlier than other players.
On the contrary, Ryan.
Jordan, but hold on, Jordan. You're that person who thinks, okay, every single draft pick, except for like the top 3 players, is going to make it to the NHL at the age of 22, 23, which is the average. No, every player is different. You may even see some fourth rounders. Jordan, not everything is as projected.
Well,
on the contrary, Ryan, I think you expect the first rounders to go too early.
Let's move on.
All right, yeah. Just really quick, one more thing to note about the 2020 draft. All 3 of the Devils' first round picks are going to be playing in the World Junior Championships in Edmonton this Christmas. So we have Arseny Griciuk. He is age 19, 129th pick in the 2019 draft. He's played in 3 different leagues so far this year. In 8, league he's played the most games in, the VHL, which is like the minor league to the KHL. He has 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. In the KHL, he's played 7 games. He doesn't have any points. And in the MHL, which is like the kind of like the junior hockey league, except for it's like a higher skilled junior hockey league, except it's like a minors to the minors, but it's more skilled than you'd think. He has 9 points in 6 games.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know much about this guy.
All right. Neither do I, but I can tell you one thing that's appealing. He's not even 20 years old yet. He was a very late pick, and he's been getting some prime quality hockey in. Pretty good future.
You know, Griciuk.
Again, with the age, I think you value age.
Jordan, age is more important than you think. You don't want somebody to make their NHL debut at 26, 27 years old, like in baseball.
Last year in the MHL, he put up a better points per game, a better season than Panarin did when Panarin was a year old. So
I didn't even know that.
Let's go to the next player, Jani Kuokkanen. Jani Kuokkanen was acquired in the same Vatanen trade, 22 years old. In 16 games in the Finnish Liga, he has 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. He's doing fine. I probably expect Kuokkanen to crack a spot on the roster this upcoming season, but I don't think it's guaranteed.
I don't expect anything about Jani Kuokkanen, excuse me. You guys can tell me different, but I don't ever see him being a first or second liner on this team.
Well, no, definitely not. But I think
expect
he could be
him eventually to crack the up.
I think he could be a solid middle 6 forward, but he's not going to be a first liner.
Yeah, no, It's just I feel like specifically just his position as a winger. I don't know how much quality he's actually going to bring to the Devils, even if he makes the roster. Again, I'm not being too age heavy here, Jordan. He's turning 23. He's still young, but he's not an 18, 19, 20-year-old. He's not a spectacular pick on the Devils front. He was acquired in a trade, which is not a bad thing. It's just that, you know, he's not the lifeblood of the Devils organization. Nobody's looking forward to him or anything. I think he might be a fourth liner, maybe. I don't know, but
I think you're
not too much expected from this kid.
Personally, I don't think he's going to crack the roster this year. I think he needs a little more time to develop.
Yeah, I think Merkley is a lot more likely to crack the roster than Quoken. Though Quoken had 6 points in 4 AHL games with the Binghamton Devils last year, played 1 game with the New Jersey Devils where, you know, he got fourth line ice time. And me and Ryan were actually at that game, and I watched Quoken very closely that game. He did a lot of right things. And if he does that during camp, he definitely can crack the roster. But let's move on to the next player, which is Arne Talavite. He's 21 years old, 160th in the 2017 draft. In 6 games in the NCAA, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. And he's been solid so far. He looked really good a couple of years ago, where he was lighting it up in the NCAA, lit it up in the World Juniors, where he captained Finland to a championship. And then he got injured, and he wasn't really the same last year, but he looks like he's making a bit of a comeback this year. And honestly, Talavit, he looks good. I think he definitely can make an impact on the roster. That is, if he signs. Of course, players who play in the NCAA only have 4 years with in their NHL team system before they have to choose to either sign with the team or go to free agency.
Again, yeah, one other thing I'd like to tell you, this kid, probably I'd like to say, just looking at his age, and I'm not being age heavy here, Jordan, looks like he's probably just finished up, well, he's about to go through his junior season, I want to say. So, yeah, I guess he can get another 2 years of collegiate eligibility, and if he wants to redshirt, but I don't know why he'd redshirt, he can get another 3 years of eligibility. But otherwise, yeah, I think he might be a pretty good utility for the Devils. That's all I got to say. I think he's a fine player. Nothing super special, but he's a good player.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I really don't know much about this guy, I'm going to be honest.
Next up, we have Benjamin Baumgartner. He's 20 years old, 161st pick in the 2020 draft. He was an overager. He's playing in the Swiss NLA, 10 games. He has 8 points. And Baumgartner, I don't know what to think about him. He definitely can be an NHLer. He has the offensive skill. His skating needs to improve a little bit, but he has the offensive talent.
This is the only situation where I'd agree with Ryan about the age heaviness. Because if you're 20 when you get drafted, then that's kind of old for getting drafted. That's the only situation where I consider old age to be a factor, and old age is a factor here. But however, he does have goal scoring ability. He does have offensive ability. You know, that always gives me hope.
So I'm about to surprise you, Jordan. This is a player who I'm going to say the age is fine.
Okay? What? Oh my God! Why do we do this to each other?
I don't know. I had this prepped already before you even said that. It's not like I'm trying to diss you or anything. Seems to me like a good player. As Jacob said, I've seen some highlights of him on YouTube. Not the best skater, not the fastest skater, but I can tell you one thing. He's an athlete. He's not huge, but he's one of the bigger players out there. And he's put points up. So, yeah, no, only 20 years old, although he's not an 18, 19-year-old who was a really high pick that everyone's excited about. I think he could be a better Devil than a lot of higher picks.
All right, next up, I think we only have 3 more, but next up we have Itu Pakia, 203rd pick in 2018. He's 21 years old, 8 points, 15 games in Liga. Pakia has been playing well over in Finland, and he actually has if he keeps playing like this, he has a good shot at and possibly cracking the Devils roster in a couple of years.
Jacob, I have a hockey question. First of all, do you know how long the Liga season is?
Good question.
I think it's a similar amount to the NHL season. It starts a little before and ends a little earlier, I think.
And is this guy more of a goal scorer or a playmaker?
I don't know. I don't know a ton about Piqué, honestly.
Okay, yeah, me neither. Because that 2-goal mark does concern me if he's a goal scorer, but he seems like he's kind of a playmaker, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here.
Next up, we have Marian Studenic, 22 years old, 143rd in 2017. 6 goals, 10 points in 16 games in Slovakia's top pro league. And you know what? These would be impressive numbers in some other leagues, but Slovakia does not have the best pro league. Like it's not bad at all, but it's not a top tier league in Europe. I don't really see Studenic being anything. Maybe at best like a fourth liner. But even that, he's more of a skill guy. So I don't know where Studenic really fits in the Devils organization.
I actually have to agree with every single word you said there, Jacob. So I'm just going to sit down and let Jordan try and say something smart.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too concerned if he doesn't succeed because he was a late round pick like 3 years ago. But I mean, there is potential there. Anytime you see a guy with good point numbers, there is potential even in the worst of leagues. So let's see where this guy goes, Let's give him a chance.
And we're down to our last player.
Last player, Nikola Pasit, was 189th in 2019, 20 years old, 4 goals in 18 games in the SHL. But you have to realize this, he's getting like third, fourth line minutes in the SHL. And when you get that type of ice time, you're not going to put up those elite numbers.
And I also have to say, again, he's on a team, let's be real here, who's clouded with talent. So he's not getting the most amount of minutes in. 20 years old, can't say that really affects my opinion on him. Think he's a young player who's got a future in the Devils organization. Late round pick, but still, I think he's one of those players who can easily turn out to be better than his pick, just like Jesper Bratt. He's got a lot of talent. One thing I've noticed, he's a very skillful player. So I'm gonna give him a crack at the stick.
Yeah, he does. Like Jacob said, he gets third line minutes, but I do see potential in him, especially considering he's a late round pick. I do see him playing above his station, but honestly, I don't see him becoming too much of an impact on the Devils organization. That's all I gotta say about him.
All right, so I think this is gonna wrap up episode 2 of season 2 of year 2 of Puck Drop, and let us know what you think down below of our opinions on these prospects. If Jacob chose the right prospects, what you think of the second season and this episode of Puck Drop so far. Feel free to follow us on Instagram, puck_drop@LHS.source. That's right, puck_drop@LHS.source. I know I'm a little slow today, but I'm sorry, I'm tired. Our Twitter handle, Jordan?
At LHS Puck Drop.
It's always a quiz. Which of the two of you I'm going to ask? And then... yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to tell you. And we'll see you in the next one. And take care. Bye-bye.
No, Mercer could crack the roster
This
next
is a
season in 2021, 2022.
Jacob,
Mercer...
you're frozen.
What?
Jacob?
Yes?
Ryan, it's you. You're freezing.
Jacob, is he there for you?
Yes.
Oh, he's not there for me. He's
I'm here.
He's
Ryan.
frozen.
Can you guys hear me?
Jacob! Hello?
Yes?
You there?
Yes?
Oh, there you go. You're back now. Oh, hold on. Jordan, you seeing this? He's lagging out.
No, I'm not seeing anything. I think it's you.
Yeah, Ryan, it's you.
There he is. He's back. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I was able to hear you the whole time.
You're kind of lagging. Hello? Oh, now he's frozen again.
I think we should put this in the video.